All right, Connor, this is a conversation that's been a long time coming. I've been spying on your Facebook group and eavesdropping on your email list, and I think you're doing a fantastic job with your online marketing for your online coaching business. And you're pretty much 100% online at this point. Yes.
Yeah, so I moved completely remote in January of this year. So I left Melbourne with my partner. We relocated to Western Australia and real basically moved everyone online who I could. And then coronavirus hit. So I was like, this sounds like it's going to be a good option to just go all in with online coaching. And it's been, yeah, it's worked out really well.
Yeah. And so you have this Facebook group.
Mhm.
Um, and can you talk a little bit about why you decided to create this Facebook group and what you're using it for?
Yeah, sure. So I guess like everything I'm sharing is from the Online Trainer Academy. Their techniques is what I'm using. So basically, we they recommend having a Facebook group just to keep your lines of communication open with people. It's a lot easier for people to see you and for you to interact with people when they're in your group versus just being a friend on Facebook. They might see some of your things on as a friend, but if they're in your Facebook group, they're going to see way more of your content, and you can kind of basically funnel what you want into that group and give them more access and to specific content that they wouldn't get if they weren't in the group as well.
And your Facebook group is private, correct?
Yep. Yeah, it's
Okay.
private.
And so how do you get people into your Facebook group?
Yeah, so like a big thing is having daily conversations with people online, so through Facebook Messenger or through Instagram. And I guess a good way for people to uh, understand how this works is if anyone has worked in a big box gym before, they'll really understand this. And when I was working in a big box gym, if I was having five or ten conversations with people on the gym floor every day, I would be I would be busy and fully booked consistently. And then if I went a week or 2 or 3 weeks without really talking to people or just focusing on my own clients, all of a sudden the new potential leads coming in, the free sessions that I'd have booked in would just drop off. And basically it's the same thing with online coaching. So if you're not having them daily conversations, like touching base with people in your Facebook friends or on Instagram who've liked or engaged with your posts, all of a sudden you're not going to have any sort of leads or calls booked in the weeks following. So that's basically the how I interact with people, get people as clients, and also get people into my Facebook group. So I'll start a conversation with someone. So let's just say you interact with one of my posts. I'll just chat to you like I'm chatting to someone in the gym. I'm not going to say, "Hey, do you want to do a call with me right now?" It's more just like, "How's everything going? Are you doing training, or what type of training are you doing at the moment?" And then after going back and forth, if the person is a good candidate, I'll offer them if they want to do a call or to join the Facebook group. And that's the way I have probably added. There's over 200 people in the group now. So I've added about 150 people, I'd say, in the last 4 months.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I always pay attention to what, trainers that I'm connected to are doing online, but I really noticed like you kind of stepped up your online game recently. And yeah, so I think I responded to one of your posts. That's how I got into your group, because I was like, what's he doing here? Like, I just wanted to see
Yeah.
what you're up to, because
Yeah.
your ideas may have come from the Online Trainer Academy, but your execution of what you're doing is pretty great. Like your consistency, your messaging, your branding, it's all really on point. And I really like what you said about talking to people, because it's true. It's awkward, or a lot of trainers feel it's awkward to like engage with people online that they don't know, but that's totally what we do in the gym. Like you talk to people on the training floor all the time. You talk to other people's clients who are working with other trainers, and they know other people that, introduce you to, and it's a constant networking game at the gym. So how do we do that online? So let's say you post something, I interact with it. Do you send me a private message, or do you respond on the post, or how do you do that?
Yeah, it depends the type of post. Like if I'm actually asking for engagement, if I'm saying, hey, if you want to know more, comment below. And the reason they recommend people do that is the more likes and comments a post get, the more it gets pushed up on the algorithm and more people will see it. So, well, let's just say you like my post. I'll just say, hey, Rose, how's everything going with you? That's it. Or else I'll say, hey, Rose, what about that post resonated with you? And normally people will just be very happy to have a conversation. And I think there's the big thing about doing this type of marketing online is not a lot of people do it consistently, because it's very like it's quite like, I guess, grunt work, you could say. It would be the word, but it's the same again. It's just in the gym. It's just trying to look at it through that lens, and just if you feel that you're not getting any client bookings, I guess another way of looking at it is, let's just say like on Instagram, you're putting up all these handstand videos or just looking like you know what you're doing. It's like being in the gym and just kind of showing off in the gym, but that never actually having a conversation with someone. So the probability of someone actually going over to you and saying, hey, I'd love to work with you, it might happen, but maybe 1 in 10 people will do that. But if you converse with people, 5 out of 10 people will engage and want to work with you.
That's so true. If you're just working out at the gym, no one's going to talk to you.
Yeah. They might even be intimidated, like if
Right.
you're, because most of our clients are at a much lower level than we are. So the fact that they're like, oh, he doesn't, you know, people have all sorts of preconceived notions of who you are and how you'll judge them potentially. So if you actually have a conversation showing that you're interested, you care, and you understand them, that's going to make you stand out so much more than most of the people online.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, how do you decide what content that you're going to post to this group? Because I mean, you've had all kinds of things I've seen go up, from talking head videos where you're picking a specific topic that you're talking about, to like images, giving information. Like, how do you come up with your content to post, and how far in advance are you planning your content?
Yeah, so this is something I've just really started getting better at over the last few months. But I theme every day, so I basically aim to put out content Monday to Friday, some Saturdays, and then I stay offline on Sundays. So basically, Monday is normally like a mindset, some sort of a mindset related post generally. Tuesday is a testimonial. Wednesday is some sort of like workout related topic. Thursday will be sometimes a question or another training related topic, and then Friday is about food or nutrition. And that's, you know, just having it themed it makes it much clearer on like what I should be talking about. And then really with content, like I think if someone is struggling who's watching this with content, I would just give yourself a 30 or 60-day challenge and just create content for that amount of time, you know, and then you can start recycling the content. You don't have to use the exact same stuff, but you might use a different image, or you might just rewrite it, but it's the same theme basically that you're talking about. And that's kind of, you know, after 2 or 3 months of doing that, then you don't have any issues with content. And then when it comes to content ideas, I mean, talk to your clients. Basically, every time I talk to a client, I get an idea, because I understand that there's something that they didn't get, or there's something that they're struggling with. And then it's also understanding who you're talking to. So if you're talking to, I mean, like if you're talking to trainers, then it's going to be very different to talking to someone who is just starting. And like my client base are, you know, kind of beginners. A lot of them would be. They want to improve their mobility. Like I'm specifically targeting guys in their 30s now who want to build strength and reduce or eliminate pain. So they might have been active when they were younger, but they've been pretty much sedentary for like the last 5, 10, maybe even 15 years. And they want just help to get out of back pain, hip pain, shoulder pain. So it's all about, my themes are all about like consistency, doing less but doing it more often, injury rehab protocols, and then how to stay on track even if you're not feeling up to it, and just keep showing up basically. So, and there's no quick fix, so they're kind of the main things that I keep drumming into people. And I think when I first started making content, I thought, oh, this is the same thing that I'm talking about, but you just look at it through the lens of being a coach. Like, it's not like you start talking about different things to your clients. You're literally telling your clients pretty much the same thing, potentially for years until they get it. So,
Um,
it's the same on and Facebook or Instagram as well. Like, we think that when we post something, people are seeing it the way we're seeing it. Like, we're seeing 100% of what we post, and we were 100% engaged with our content. But like, I will see 5% of what you post, and you could be posting the same thing, and I might only see 5% of it, and vice versa. So that's the way to think about it. You're not going to exhaust a topic, or people aren't going to get bored with you talking about the same thing again and again.
yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because I can't remember who said this, but somebody at GMV said this. Like, if you're a coach, you're signing up to say the same thing over and over again. Like, that's
Yeah.
your job, right? Like, so it's no different on social media. And I also want to say about your content, like, I know that you have a specific target audience. I know you're working with guys in their 30s. I know the problem that you're working on solving. None of your content that I have received thus far, as like a 40-year-old woman not working on those things, was not relevant to me. Like, I didn't feel that I was being excluded or anything. And so sometimes I think trainers who are just starting to figure out who their target audience is, what their niche is, they're worried they're excluding people, when it's really just like directing like a focus for what your marketing is, for what you're saying. But it still is applicable to a lot of people who
Yeah.
aren't in your target audience. So just wanted to throw that out there, because I know people are always like worried about that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to. It's probably the hardest thing I've experienced, and most people experience, is to niche down, because you want to help this person, this person, this person, or you're gonna separate yourself from other people. But it's, yeah, as you said, it doesn't actually work like that. But the good thing is, a lot of guys have reached out since in the last 3 months. I've specifically said guys in their 30s, and they said, "Oh, I saw that you're actually specifically doing stuff with guys in their 30s. So it sounds like I'd be well suited to your program." That's
That's
the
awesome.
power of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, so another thing that I really like that you have is an opt-in. So you have, it's like 150 workouts, right?
Yeah,
Like
101 bodyweight workouts.
101 body weight workouts. So this is a downloadable PDF that
Yeah.
people can get from your website. So one, all of you who are watching this, I'll leave like a link to Conor's website. You should all go check it out, because it's a really slick looking download. Very well done, thought out, executed. But something that I really love that you have is that it's pinned to your Facebook group. So it's at the top of your Facebook group feed, so that when people join, that's one of the first things they see. So they're going to automatically sign up for it and give you their email, which means they're then on your email list. How did you come up with your opt-in? And are there other ways that you get people to like sign up other than your Facebook group?
Yeah, I saw Pat Flynn has 101 kettlebell workouts, and I said, "Oh, okay. I think bodyweight workouts would be a good idea." So, and then I have like, I had a Google a Google document basically with all of the workout or all of the exercises that I use for clients' programs. So I just put them all into different, like, quick 5 to 15 minute routines. And then I think I put it as as a post in a few different Facebook groups probably about 6 months ago, and there was huge engagement. There was 200 or 300 comments on each one. So I was like, "Oh, this is definitely something that people want," and especially with coronavirus.
You
So
hit it
I was
right.
like, "This is great." And yeah, that was back in, it would have been back in probably May. Yeah. So, most places were still shut down. So, and that's just going to be something good. It's probably a good idea now that I'm talking about this to actually put it out there again, because a lot of countries are closing down again. So yeah, so that's worked really well. And then basically having people in the Facebook group, but getting them onto my email list is just another place that I can have a conversation with them and nurture them, because some people aren't on Facebook. People leave Facebook, but people will always have their email. And yeah, like I signed up a client last month. He was on my email list for about a year and a half, and he's been just getting my emails every week. And he signed up on like my most expensive package. No problem. He's like, "Yeah, I trust you. I've been getting information from you, and you clearly know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Wow, this is the power of the email list." So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so that's the next thing I want to talk to you about, because your emails are like amazing and you have so many of them. So I wanted to talk to you about that process.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really, really awesome, because that is a testament to your writing, you're communicating to your audience, you've built trust, you're building relationships with people, even if you have no idea who they are. Like, you are establishing yourself within that niche. So it's amazing. I'm really excited for you. So I was snooping on your email list. So I signed up for something. I got your download, and then I was like watching what happens, which is you have a pretty great email sequence that follows somebody signing up for your opt-in. So tell us a little bit about that, and then also tell us how often you're sending out emails besides your email sequence that I know is like kind of automatic. When somebody like signs up, they start getting certain emails. But beyond
Yeah.
that, I mean, I'm sure whatever sequence I got into is long over, and I still get emails from you all the time. So I'm kind of curious what your process is for your sequence versus your regular emails that go out.
Yeah. So the sequence, I think it's 6 emails. Two of the emails are testimonials, just stories about a client that, like, I think one of the best advice I got for content is how you solve your niche's problems is a big one, and any of their uh, anything that they're worried about or unsure of with your coaching or how it's going to work, they're great topics to talk about as well. So like something I've talked about recently is, a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, online coaching won't work for me. I need to be with an in-person trainer." So that's a great topic to talk about, and how you might have helped a client in a similar position overcome that and get really great results. Something like that is an example. Or someone who keeps getting injured, how you help people who've gotten injuries their whole life become injury free. And obviously this, you don't make this stuff up. This is stuff that you have to have done with clients. Otherwise it's not very ethical. So um, that would be a way of creating content for email. But then the sequence, is 6 emails long, so you'd get an email every day for 6 days, and that just basically gets you to know me very quickly and what I'm about very quickly. And then I think it was this year I committed to doing 2 emails a week, so every Tuesday and Friday
Dang.
every week. Just no matter what, schedule them into Aweber, and they go out every single week. And some week, and again, it comes back to like the Facebook content. When you are doing content every day, that's 20 pieces of content a month, even more maybe. You can you can pull a Facebook post and put it into your email. There's nothing wrong with that. And then after a certain point, I can look at the last year of content, and I can see what was the highest delivery rate emails, and I'll recycle them emails. After 3 to 6 months, I'll use them again. So I think that's the thing with content. Like, once you've done consistent content for 60 to 90 days, you're kind of you don't really need to create that much more. You'll just fine tune and tweak things, but you have pretty much enough content, as long as you're happy with what it is and it's targeted to your niche. So that's what I've found. Is now I'm in a position where I kind of just have a big bag of content and I can just pick and choose, and it's much quicker. And then October was the first month ever that I had literally everything scheduled for the whole month. So every day was scheduled, and it was amazing. Like, it was amazing. It was like such a time saver as well, because if you know, sometimes you're trying to think what to post, and then you might go online and then you get caught on Facebook, and it's a time drain. So that was really good. And then it gives me more time to give more specialized content for the Facebook group, so it has more value on top of that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super cool. And that's such a commitment of 2 emails a week. That's a lot that you're doing. That's really awesome. What kind of response do you get to your emails? Do you get replies from people? Like, how are your emails received? I mean, like I said, I've read a ton of them that I've gotten, and I've been continually impressed with like the content that you're giving in them, the stories you're telling, the relationship building that's happening. So I'm just curious, like, do you get replies? Do you get people reaching out to you from them? Like, how does that go?
Yeah, it's really just it depends on what you say in the email. So usually if I write like a regular email with content, at the end I'll always say, like, hey, if you're someone who struggles with injuries, let me know, hit reply and let me know. I would say 95% of the time, no one replies to those type of emails. Sometimes people might, but it's usually the like the spear posts, which is it's a technique from Dean Jackson, who's a really, if you want to get better at email marketing, I'd sign up to his email list. He's amazing. He's like one of the world's leading experts in email marketing. So a spear post is when there's actually, what is it again? The short, personal, and expecting a reply. So basically, you might say, my email might be, oh yeah, like this week, like pilot study, and or mobility is something I send, or something like that. And Dean Jackson used or coined the term the 9-word email. So it's basically just 9 words. So are you still looking to improve your mobility, or something like that? And those type of emails get the highest response rate, because it doesn't seem like a mass market email. It seems like it's sent to the person specifically. And if your address is just underneath, like, you'll put it down further on the page, so it looks like that you've sent the email specifically to that person. So the chances of them replying is way higher. So when I send them emails, usually I'll get between 5 and like 12 responses, and that just starts a conversation with someone that can potentially lead to like a phone call, and potentially a new client.
And overall, since you kind of stepped up your email game in the spring, like, how has been like the conversion rate for you? Like, are you getting work out of all of this? Like, you're putting in a lot of time and effort into it. So I'm just curious, like, what the payout has been like for you.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I would say, if you want to build an online business, I would recommend social media, definitely. DM, like direct messaging in Instagram, Facebook is definitely a way quicker, more um, efficient way of getting clients. I've definitely gotten more clients that way. But I've gotten emails interesting, because people will just come, like a girl from Ireland who I actually have never met. She was in school with my brother. She was on my email list. I didn't realize. She reached out to me last month and said, I really like your approach to training, and I want to talk to you about coaching. So we had a call last month, and now she's moving house, so we're talking again next week. Never in a million years would have thought that she would have needed coaching. So people kind of come out. It's more of a slow process. The same with the guy I was telling you about. He signed up last month on the biggest package. Yeah, so I think it's a very beneficial thing. And also if you're just essentially using pretty similar content and just popping it into the email autoresponder every week, I think it's really helpful and really a great way of building trust with people. And people tend to read their emails whereas they'll scan their social media. So if people are reading your emails, they're probably going to be a much when they do come through, they're going to be very, very on board with your process and everything. So I think it's a great option, but I wouldn't be, if you wanted to build a business really quickly, I'd be focusing on Instagram and Facebook.
Right. And we kind of talked about this even before we started this call, is that when you have an email list, you own it. Whereas whatever
Yeah.
content you have on Facebook or Instagram, like at some point you might not own it. Like you might not have access to that anymore if that system no longer is happening, or people are not wanting to be on those platforms. Like then you lose that power. But if you have emails, you still, that follows you where you go.
Yeah, and that's a really important point. So I think that's, for that reason alone, it's good, because if the algorithm changes or for whatever reason, your business has just disappeared overnight. So I think that's really important.
But I do like what you said, is that email can be a slow build, and it's really like if you start doing email marketing and you don't get a lot of people in the first like 3-4 months, like don't quit, because it's like a long haul process of like what you said, building that trust, building the relationship. People need to get to know you, get to know what you're about, get to know your method a little bit before they are going to potentially buy something from you.
Yeah, I just think, again, just coming back to the gym, if you've worked in a gym, you'll find people come up to you a year later saying, I've been watching you and I want to work with you. And you never even realized that they were watching you or even existed, maybe. So it's the same with email. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one of the marketing things that I've learned along the way is that only 2% of people who like follow you or like check out your stuff are even willing to buy, like know they're ready for something. Whereas like everybody else is, they're not really maybe even considering buying something right now, but they're interested in what you're doing. So to your point, they're going to just check you out for a long time and see what you're up to. What platform, I know you use WordPress for your website. What do you do? Use your email for your email stuff?
Aweber.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for trainers who are interested in potentially cultivating, an email list, but using Facebook kind of the way you're doing it, like a private Facebook group? Like what kind of advice can you give to somebody who's starting off with that?
Yeah, I would say, to be honest, I would look at the Online Trainer Academy or something like that to just get it all really laid out for you. But just from this call, if you wanted some action steps, I'd say the first thing would be start talking to people every day, regardless of the situation. Set a habit. I think the five conversations a day is a really great habit, and it's one of those things that you can implement straight away and not feel disheartened if you don't have any clients, because you can just go, oh, I haven't messaged anyone this week, of course I don't have clients. It's the same as being in the gym. And then create a Facebook group and start asking people if they want to join the Facebook group. And I guess talk to people like you talk to people in real life. You see people online and they'll just spam you in your DM with like, here's my new group. You wouldn't say that to someone on the street. You would talk to them first and say, hey, I actually have a group, do you want to join the group? And they'll say yes or no, and then if they say yes, let them in. If they say no, then no problem. But you don't just or invite people to join your group without saying anything to them as well. That's just not a really good conversion way of doing things. So just try and spend the time. It's very, very time consuming. Just to let everyone know this, it is very time consuming, the DMing. But the more I've kind of slowed down and had individual conversations, as opposed to trying to just send the same thing to 50 people online, I've gotten way better results and built way better trust and relationships online as well.
Right on. And you have a new kind of coaching group you're you're kicking off right now. I saw your email
Yep.
come out. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So a good way of, I guess, basically getting people to put up their hand and saying that they might be interested in what you have to offer is offering a case study or a research group or a pilot study. And they recommend in the OTA to put one on every month, which it seems like a lot. So I've done one this month and 2 months ago. So basically, yeah, I just send out an email saying pilot study. If you're a guy in his 30s, you want to build strength, reduce or eliminate pain, and you're coachable and friendly. You put at the end as well, which is funny. Basically reply with a pilot study, and I'll send you through the details, and then you just start a conversation like that. So I've actually called with a guy tonight about this situation, or about the study. So some people will interpret it as a free thing, some people won't, so it just depends. And you just, it gets more people wanting to understand what's going on, or curious about how it works. And then you get them on the phone and just basically talk to them about the program if they're interested in joining it.
Got it. Cool. And so you've had a good response to that so far?
This one, okay, of 2 or 3 people. We'll just see. I find a lot of stuff as well with the email and with all of these things is scarcity. So I'll put up another post, later in the week saying this is the last chance to join, and that generally gets a few people to join the program at that point, and just following everyone up as well. So at this point, it's been so. But it's just one of those things, if you can't be guaranteed new people joining your program every month. You just have to try different things and different times of the year as well. I do know from a lot of the guys in the coaching group I'm in who have huge online businesses, they always say October is actually a really quiet month, for whatever reason.
Cool. Well, you'll have to keep us posted on how it goes. And is it okay if I share the name of your private Facebook group with everybody?
Yeah, of course.
You might get some trainers following, or asking to join so they can see how you do things. But
Yeah, if they want to come in and have a look around, no problem.
cool. So Mobility Mastery is Connor's group, and
Mhm.
really good content. Definitely check it out. Sign up for his free opt-in so that you can check out his email sequences because they're awesome. Um, and can people reach out to you if they have questions?
Yeah, any questions? Just where is this going to be posted on Facebook
It'll be
or
on
in?
Facebook and yeah, mostly on Facebook and the internal GMB site for trainers too. So
Okay. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, just message me, no problem.
cool. Thank you, Connor. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me today about this. I'm really excited about what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to checking in with you in a few more months and seeing how it's going.
Thanks, Rose.